Hello, everyone. Welcome to Down by Contact Football, DBC Football, episode number 8. I am here with Tom. Tom, how are you?
I'm a little sleepy today, but, the show must go on, so.
The show must go on. We're hitting that lull of the off-season. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at DBC_football. Also check out our YouTube channel, DBC Not BBC Football, or www.dbcfootball.com for our blog and photo galleries. Thanks for joining us. Subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher, and let's get started, Tom.
Let's do it.
All right, we're going to start with some haps around the league, the news of the NFL. First up, we have Justin Forsett retiring. What do you think, Tom?
Until recently, he was more just a complimentary third-string back. He really didn't gain prominence until he was with Baltimore.
Yeah, 29 years old, so bounced around between Indy and Seattle, Jacksonville, Houston, finally landed in Baltimore, put up 1,266 yards and 8 touchdowns in his age 29 season, so not a spring chicken, but he did some things.
Yeah.
So, kind of put that in perspective, 1,266 yards in one season, finished his total career
like
3,890 and 19 total touchdowns. After Baltimore, he did have stops in Detroit and Denver, and finished a career with 820 carries. So, good for you, Forsett. He was a valuable fantasy running back for about 1 year.
If even.
Well, no, it was a pretty good year, and certainly wasn't drafted that year in Baltimore. So, good for the fantasy sleeper section.
Yep.
Up next, Johnny Hekker throwing out some heat to LeVar Ball. He got in on the action on the hashtag BBB, the Big Baller brand. As you may or may not know, Lonzo Ball declaring for the NBA draft. His shoe of the Big Baller brand released for $495 and a grand total of about 300 pairs sold off the bat. So not off to a great start, the Ball family. But Hekker, the punter for the Los Angeles Rams, decided to try to help out and offered a $9,000 reasonably priced signature kicking shoe for the Big Baller brand. What do you think? Would you buy that shoe?
Definitely. It's fairly priced for to have that logo on the side of it.
Yeah, totally worth $9,000.
Yeah.
Let alone $500.
Yeah.
If that Lonzo Ball shoe would just be pushed off into the corner if you get that punter shoe.
On a realistic note, though, I can't stand LeVar Ball.
Yes.
Literally anybody that goes at him is my favorite person.
And to be fair, Johnny Hekker, it's on record, Bill Belichick saying that Johnny Hekker is the Rams' best player.
Which probably isn't false.
Probably isn't false. I think Aaron Donald might have something to say about that. However, Johnny Hekker is a pretty good punter, and punters are people too.
That's what they say.
Ray Guy. First round pick, Ray Guy.
He was.
1973. How about that?
Fun fact.
Fun fact. Other news around the league, Pete Carroll said there's a 0% chance that Richard Sherman gets traded. Shocker?
Not really. They had a really high asking price, and I guarantee none of the teams wanted to meet that.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it in a couple previous episodes. It's just such a deep corner class. Mm-hmm. Even a few decent corners on the market, Steph Gilmore, Logan Ryan. Not realistic to move a corner this offseason if you're a team looking for some compensation. I'm willing to bet that they fielded calls, but no one's going to part with a first-round pick for Richard Sherman. As good as he is, he doesn't have talent.
He's doing nothing but getting older.
He has talent.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the potential upside of a 21, 22-year-old kid. So, not to mention a lot of history. He's a bit of a talker. Some teams shy away from that.
That is true.
Other Seattle news. The Seahawks claimed Mike Davis, running back, who was cut by the 49ers over the weekend. A little bit of an odd move, I think, from Seattle. Probably just a little bit of divisional chess match. Mm-hmm. Mike Davis, in his career, 2 yards per carry on 54 carries, giving him 108 yards over the course of 2 seasons. Not really lighting up the stat sheets. Just interesting for me. Seattle has Eddie Lacy, Thomas Rawls, C.J. Prosise, and Alex Collins. Mm-hmm. I don't even expect Mike Davis to make this team.
Yeah.
So
they're probably just trying to get back at taking the when the Niners took the lineman.
Yeah, yeah. So
can't remember.
Not really sure what that was all about, but like I said, I don't expect him to make the team. But if he does, it's just Pete Carroll further making fantasy football players hate him.
Yes.
Because just those 4 names alone, Procise and Collins are kind of dynamic out of the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
Rawls and Lacey are 2 hammers. That's a lot. There's a lot of mouths to feed.
It is.
Especially with Eddie Lacy.
Not to mention Russell Wilson also runs the ball too.
Yeah, and Lockett can get some gadget runs out of the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot going on in that Seattle backfield. Not really anyone to block for them. So we will see what happens.
We will.
The New York Jets.
Jete. Get it right.
Jets. Gangrene. Cut Marcus Gilchrist. Not really surprising considering they drafted 2 safeties in the top 40 picks of the 2017 NFL Draft. However, maybe a little surprising. Marcus Gilchrist is 28 years old. 2011 second-round pick of the Chargers. On his second team, some career stats here for you. 10 picks, 4 forced fumbles, 3 sacks, 26 deflections, and 383 tackles in his career so far. And with the Jets, up until he tore his patellar tendon, he had 29 consecutive starts. So if he bounces back and he's healthy, he's not going to be looking for work for very long.
Yeah.
Did it shock you at all?
A little bit. I mean, I feel like because he was said to be on the trading block, I felt like they could have maybe got like a conditional late round pick.
Yeah,
for
something.
Him. Yeah. I mean, he's definitely has talent, and usually players don't just get cut for nothing.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising, but I think they decided to just go ahead and clear the air. No muss, no fuss. They still have 3 starting safeties for 2 positions, so we'll see what happens with Calvin Pryor. Maybe he and May will duke it out for one spot, and it's gonna be May. But and Jamal Adams is obviously going to be penciled in as a starter from day one, provided he doesn't get hurt. So,
knock on wood.
3 good safeties, probably a good problem to have. On to other news here. A quarterback that had the potential to join the Jets this year but didn't. Jay Cutler has retired.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't really have feelings for it.
I feel like everyone in the world is indifferent.
It's just kind of meh.
You either hate Jay Cutler or you're indifferent.
Yeah. I got nothing against Jay Cutler.
To be fair, Jay Cutler was Mike Mayock's number 1 rated quarterback in 2006. And Mike Mayock, he's not wrong.
His forehead has gotten bigger since he was drafted.
Oh, Cutler. He's got the cutlet. His son, I tell you. First round pick in 2006 out of Vanderbilt. Represent Nashville. Obviously to the Denver Broncos and the Shanahan system. Cutler went 2782. That's 2,782 for 4,491 passing. 61.9% is what that equals out to for 32,467 career yards at 7.2 yards per attempt. And his career touchdown interception ratio, what do you think it is off the top of your head, Tom? Do you think it's bad? Do you think it's...
I think it's somewhere around that 1-to-1.
208 touchdowns, 146 interceptions.
Really?
Yeah, people always think Cutler turned the ball over more. He did. He had 89 career fumbles, 38 of which he lost. But touchdown interception ratio, I actually thought it was worse than that myself.
Yeah.
Until I looked it up. So good for you, Cutler. And he also, holding it down for Vandy, 1,650 career rushing yards and 9 scores. Go Cutler.
Yeah.
So he'll be missed on the football field. Who am I kidding? He won't be missed. I certainly had nothing against him, but Bears fans...
I think it's cool that his first game he's calling is a preseason Bears game. So.
Yeah. And with the Titans-Bears, and he's a
Vanderbilt
guy, lives in Nashville now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think he'll fare? So much has always been made about Cutler as the coach killer, terrible attitude. You always see the negative stuff on the field.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think he'll be as a broadcaster?
I mean, supposedly he killed his audition. So, I mean...
That's what they say.
You can't really tell because he never was really shown in that light. So it's really until you actually see him doing it when you can decide.
I'm gonna go on a limb here and say he crushes Romo for best new sportscaster of the year.
I doubt it.
In football.
I doubt it.
He's gonna crush Tony Romo's back.
Not Antonio Romo.
Oh, Antonio. Oh, all right. Actually, kind of circling back here, we have another bit of Jets news here. Michael Vick has a take on the New York Football Jets. Quote, "Man, good luck."
I'm pretty sure a lot of other people are saying the same thing.
I'm pretty sure you're right. Although, interesting take for Mike Vick. He pulled for Hackenberg to be the starter. So
I mean, I think he should. They need to see.
Yeah.
They just spent a second-round pick on him.
Hack has a fan in Mike Vick. He also had a take on Joe Mixon and how he can use the negative things that happen and that he did and turn it into a positive and be a role model for others moving forward. So who better to give that advice than Michael Vick? Served
one of the best comeback stories.
18 months in federal prison, came back, had another huge contract, had some pretty good years for the Eagles, and then rounded out his career with the Jets and Steelers.
Yeah.
So Vic's always got a hot take.
He does.
Other news, currently the murder conviction for Aaron Hernandez has been vacated. It will be appealed by the state, probably make it all the way up to the Massachusetts Supreme Court. Won't get into too many details there, but the rumor is that since it's been vacated, his family will be entitled to some of that money that he got from the New England Patriots. So we will see what happens there.
Yeah, I mean, apparently it's the law up there, so.
Now, Tom.
Yes.
Let's talk turkey.
We're talking turkey, whatever that means.
Do you know what college team I root for?
No. We haven't mentioned them yet this episode, so I think
we're all right on cue.
I was getting scared there for a second.
Right? You thought we'd make it, an eighth of the way through an episode without mentioning them. What team would that be, Tom?
The Tennessee Volunteers.
And who was the greatest Vol of all time offensively? Of course, Reggie White is defensively.
I'm going to have to go with a certain Peyton Manning.
That Peyton Manning guy.
He is.
He's in the news.
He is.
First and foremost, he gave the seal of approval for the Julius Thomas trade. And who better than Peyton Manning?
The guy that he only had success with.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe Ryan Tannehill will channel his inner Peyton this year.
You never know.
You do never know.
Crazier
Although
things
I doubt
have happened.
that. So, but Peyton Manning in the news.
Sunday.
Peyton Manning in the news. The Colts are going to retire his number on October 8th. It's a Week 5 game against the 49ers. So, congrats to Manning. Big deal. I mean, that's the house that Peyton built. Let's be honest. That big fancy Lucas Oil Stadium wouldn't be there had it not been for Peyton Manning and his 4 MVPs and 1 Super Bowl win.
If they took Ryan Leaf.
Ooh, that would have been brutal. Peyton Manning famously told them that he would kick their butt for a decade. I think he would have.
Yeah,
the Chargers have to be pretty sad.
Yeah.
However, they're going to retire his number 18, the first modern era Colt to be retired. They haven't retired a jersey number since they were the Baltimore Colts, so it's pretty cool. Obviously, transcendent player. I mean, looking at his Colts stats, 399 touchdowns. This one's brutal. 141 wins to 67 losses with the Colts, 1 Super Bowl win, and 4 MVP awards.
It's pretty decent.
That's unreal. So in addition to the October 8th jersey retirement, they will also be unveiling a Peyton Manning statue outside of the stadium on October 7th. So
if he's not holding a box of Papa John's, then they definitely did something wrong.
I feel like Papa John's Peyton was more Denver.
Still
I don't know.
Peyton.
I would imagine there will be a lot of former Colts greats at that Week 5 game.
Oh, yeah.
I'm certainly going to look into going to that one, but I would imagine tickets are going to sell pretty quick for that.
Hear that? It'll be really expensive. One of the two.
Yeah, one of the two. see where the budget falls on that one. Huge Peyton Manning fan. I have been since I was 6 years old. So go Peyton. Really happy to see it. I mean, I didn't like how his tenure with the Colts ended. Obviously, they made the business decision that they thought was best for them. Peyton still had some gas in that tank.
I mean, yeah,
won a Super Bowl.
Best quarterback prospect since Peyton Manning coming out. So
yeah, and we'll see if
what are you gonna do?
We'll see if that bears fruit. LeGarrette Blount. I see that he was recently ranked number 80 in the NFL Network's Top 100 countdown.
Yeah.
He had 1,161 yards and 18 touchdowns last year. He's 30 years old. He's a free agent. He's flirted with the Giants, but still no deal. Do you think LeGarrette Blount finds work soon?
Soon, maybe not, but I think he does before the season starts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, teams will kind of see where they're at once, like, training camps, OTAs, stuff like that.
I mean, the guy had 18 rushing touchdowns last year.
He's also 30 years old, though. That I'm sure that scares a lot of teams away.
Although he hasn't had a whole lot of carries, I'm a little high on LeGarrette Blount. Don't mind the pun.
I like nice. I like LeGarrette Blount. I just feel. I mean, you've seen it the last couple years. He's been a free agent almost every year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
the Patriots.
The yearly dance.
The Patriots wait, and they end up getting him right before like OTA start.
Yeah, I just don't see it this year.
Yeah,
They've got a pretty full stable.
It's like Seattle.
Yeah. Rex Burkhead.
Yeah. Mike Gillislee.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the true Blount replacement right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was kind of racking my brain, right, playing GM a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Who would he be a great fit for? I think he would fit phenomenally with the Baltimore Ravens.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, they are lacking a ground game. I was reading some pretty crazy stats. They used to be the highest percentage run team that would break 100 yards each game.
Mm-hmm.
They are now one of the lowest. So,
I mean, they just put the ball in the elite Joe Flacco's hands.
The elite Joe Flacco needs some help. He's got no one to throw to. He's so elite. Yeah, I think LeGarrette Blount would be a good fit there.
Yeah.
But we will see what happens. The National Football League also purchased a stake of Fanatics recently. 3%, costing them a cool $95 million. Is that a little bit of having their cake and eating it too?
A little bit.
A little bit, right? They're getting merchandise fees and license fees, and now they own 3% of the money that they're also... I mean, it's a little confusing, but they bought 3% of the stake of the company that's doing the majority of the sales of jerseys and stuff, and apparel. I don't know. Kind of wrap my head around that. So $95 million is 3%. Fanatics is worth $3.17 billion. So
it's a nice little chunk of change.
Yeah. The NFL can just shuffle out a cool $95 million and
it must be nice.
increase their gains on everything they sell.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like an awesome money loop there.
It is. I wish I had something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll see a big return on that 3%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've bought multiple things from that website, so who knows?
Yeah.
Sure, I'm not the only one, considering they're worth billions of dollars.
Yeah. So the Bills made a move.
Yeah, recently.
They brought in Brandon Beane as their new general manager. Of course, he spent the last 19 years with Carolina, most recently as the assistant general manager under David Gettleman, who is regarded as one of the best general managers in the league, minus the last 2 seasons. Some questionable decisions, but yeah. What do you think that means for Buffalo?
I mean, obviously they didn't like Doug Whaley.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully him and McDermott can get...
They already know each other.
Yeah. So hopefully they can create a nice little program up there in Buffalo. I mean, it's a team that I'm pretty sure they had the longest
playoff drought.
Yeah. Definitely be cool to see them in the playoffs again.
It'd be great to see them make 4 consecutive Super Bowls and not win again. Sorry, Bills fans, just how I feel. And lose to all NFC East teams.
As long as 2 of them are against the Cowboys again,
and
all right.
4 of them against the Eagles.
Then that would not be. Your math is not correct there.
Yeah, we'll see. No, I think it kind of shows that Buffalo likes what Carolina built, and they're trying to do something similar.
Obvious reason.
They gave Beane the same tenure, 5-year deal, as they gave Sean McDermott. So I think they're going to trust their process, to borrow a phrase, and rebuild this thing. And I think it kind of picks up next year when they look for their future quarterback.
Yeah, unless Tyrod lights it up this year.
No, I think that's why Doug Whaley's gone.
I mean, they got another receiver, so you never know.
Yeah, Zay Jones. I've got an interesting topic here for you, Tom.
Let's hear it.
It's a little outside of the scope of the news around the league, but it involves a former player.
All right. I'm listening.
So, golf is a hobby of many people. Some are pretty good at it.
I wonder where you're going with this.
Tony Romo failed.
He failed
yet again, as he's done every other time he's tried to play in a pro tournament. Failed to make it How does that make you feel?
It doesn't.
The failures of Tony Romo continue.
He's going to turn that around come football season when he's in the broadcast booth.
He said today he might be pretty bad at it.
He's just, he's just a humble guy,
It got me thinking, the Tony Romo conversation. It got me thinking. Mm-hmm. You're a Romo fan.
I am.
And I'm a McNabb fan. How about we compare those careers? No, you don't want to? Well, let's take a look at it here since I have all the stats. We're going to take a look anyway. So, Tony Romo, is he Hall of Fame bound? What do you think? He's got 34,183 career passing yards, 248 career touchdowns, 117 career interceptions, a 97.1, very, very respectable, fourth highest all time in this era, 97.1 passer rating. A touchdown to interception ratio is at 2.7, which is a little high. 2-4 career record in the playoffs, failure, and 78-49 career win-loss record. I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff for Tony Romo.
For undrafted player.
Do you think that's Hall of Fame worthy?
Probably not.
No?
I mean, he'll be in consideration. He'll get talks when his time comes around, but I just feel like you got to look at some of the other guys that are in there. And obviously, except for, Dan Marino, most of them have
Super Bowls. Super Bowl rings.
Obviously, Dan Marino, even without the Super Bowl ring, was still top 5 at least quarterback.
He was the number 1 quarterback in his time, statistic-wise.
Yeah.
So Donovan McNabb.
Nope.
37,276 career passing yards, 234 touchdowns, the same 117 career interceptions, 1.3% touchdown interception ratio, which is one of the best all time. 98,
just overthrowing everybody.
62-1 career record. 9-7 in the playoffs with an 85.6 career passer rating. That sounds Canton bound to me. I mean, he trumps Romo by far, in my opinion.
By far?
My humble opinion.
By far?
Yeah. Look at that win-loss record, especially in the playoffs. Romo, two playoff wins.
Hey, man, you're only as good as your team.
Anywho, I digress. I've gone well down the rabbit hole here.
One of these days, you're going to appreciate what Tony Romo did for this league.
Probably not, but that's all right. So, getting into our next segment for the first time here on DBC Football, www.dbcfootball.com, at DBC_football on the Insta and Twitter.
Yep.
This day in NFL history, a DBC retrospective of some historical things that happened on this date in history related to the NFL. Tom, take it away.
Well, today's May 9th, and not much happened today in NFL history. 3 years ago, day 2 of the NFL draft was underway. Some notable names from that. We got Derek Carr, who looks like to be a franchise quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo, who, could be the heir apparent to Tom Brady.
Jimmy G.
And Jarvis Landry, who's probably not considered as one of the best receivers in the league, but, he puts up numbers. He's definitely their number 1 down there in Miami.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
And, there's some other players. You had Jordan Matthews, DeMarcus Lawrence, just to throw in a couple of our guys in there. Not as big.
Our guys?
Yeah, well, you got one of your guys, one of my guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously not as high profile as Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Plus, it hasn't been very long since that draft.
Yeah. Also, we have some birthdays today.
All right.
The big one is Jake Long.
Former number 1 overall pick out of Michigan.
Recent retiree. He was born today in 1985.
85.
So, happy birthday, Jake Long.
There you go. He's got some pretty sick tattoos, Jake Long.
I haven't seen any of them.
There you go.
I would not know.
Is that it?
That is all I got.
Okay.
Like I said, not much happened today.
There it is. Well, there you have it. This day in NFL history.
Hopefully, May 16th brings us
some good fortune.
Some good fortune.
There you go. All right. How about some rookie updates, Tom? Any status on the signing of contracts, which has clearly become so much easier ever since the wage scale was
I mean,
introduced.
you don't got those giant contracts for players that have never played in the NFL.
Yeah, the last unreal
Sam
contract
Bradford.
went to Sam Bradford. So what
and somehow he still has like leverage in this league.
somehow, some way. But anyway, yeah, what do you got?
So far, only 3 first-round picks have signed contracts.
All right.
We have Christian McCaffrey, obviously, drafted by the
Carolina Panthers.
signed his contract.
Number 8 overall.
John Ross.
Number 9 overall.
Yeah. And Marlon Humphrey was the most
Humphrey,
recent
16, yeah. Number 16 pick to the Baltimore Ravens.
I mean, there have been a bunch of later-round picks that have signed, but
yeah.
the first-round ones are ones people really care about.
Oh, yeah, and those are the ones that kind of go back and forth about offset language in their contract.
Look at Joey Bosa
last year. Great example. And, I don't know. It's kind of hard for a team. The team's big sticking point will be you sign it or we let you go back into the draft pool next year, a la Bo Jackson. So
why would you want to do that? It's pretty much just wasted a first-round pick on.
Yeah, so if you're willing to invest a first-round pick in them, odds are you're going to cave on the offset language, whatever it is that they're looking for, because, with the wage scale being what it is, you don't really have much to argue about.
Not a lot of wiggle room there.
Yeah. All right, Tom. We have a little special segment here.
We do.
We're gonna ask each other some trivia questions.
Let's do it.
All right. Why don't you go first? Why don't you ask me a few questions and test my knowledge here? Completely. I'm in the dark here. I don't even know what you're gonna ask about.
You don't.
And then we'll see how I do.
I got some three questions here that I think not super easy, but
yeah. Hopefully,
a
I don't.
football fan like yourself might be able to get it.
Shots fired. Hopefully, I don't embarrass myself here. Completely unprepared for this, and then I'll hit you back with 3 of my own.
Which I will probably not get any of.
All right. Let's get started.
Okay, my first question. How many yards was John Elway's The Drive?
I believe it was 98 yards.
That is correct.
Yeah. Against the Cleveland Browns.
Yep. Okay, number 2. Who was the first tight end inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Oh, man. This is a tough one. I believe it was John Mackey.
Nope, Mike Ditka.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, shame on me.
Come on, man.
Shame on me. I got so tied up in the John Mackey Award for tight ends. Oh boy.
Let's see if you can come out with a winning record.
See if I can get a rebound here.
Who is the only player to score 3 touchdowns in 2 separate Super Bowls?
Man, that's a good question. Can you give me team? No?
You should know this.
No player. Oh boy. I feel like I'm so on the spot here. This is so embarrassing. I don't know what to do.
If you give up, just let me know.
I guess I got to take a wild guess at this.
Go ahead.
You asked me, so I'm just gonna assume it's a Cowboy player. I'm gonna go with Jerry Rice.
That's correct.
Yeah, it dawned on me as I started to think about it.
I was afraid you weren't gonna get that. Jerry's your boy.
Yeah, Jerry's the GOAT. He was looking pretty fly down at the Kentucky Derby this past weekend.
I thought that would have been an easy one for you.
Well, it's coming from you, so I think there's always like a trick to it.
Man, it's just NFL questions.
There you go. Now I have 3 trivia questions for you.
Which I probably will not.
And they're all about Tony Romo.
Okay.
We'll see how well you know your boy, Tony Romo. Up first.
He's like my backup boy.
Nope.
T.O. is my...
Ugh, we don't talk about that guy. Number 1.
Uh-huh.
Where, city and state, was Tony Romo born?
Somewhere in Illinois.
Incorrect. Tony Romo was actually a Navy brat and was born in San Diego, California.
Okay.
Question number 2. The famed December 16th, 2007 Jessica Simpson game where she was at and Tony Romo played awful, just awful, and fans clamored for their relationship to end. What team did the Dallas Cowboys play on December 16th, 2007?
Let me take a gander at these jerseys over here that you have hanging.
Oh, man.
The Giants.
The Philadelphia Eagles, and we trounced the Cowboys.
Wasn't it like 42-7 or something like that?
It was a bloodbath. That's all you need to know. Tony Romo should have retired in 07.
Now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Number 3. See if I can give you the big old donut here.
Probably.
Tony Romo's grandfather emigrated from what country?
Mexico.
That is correct, Tom. Ooh, 1 out of 3. Look at you. You got a thing.
I did.
You did. I believe you called him Antonio earlier.
That is a very very good batting average in baseball.
Oh, too bad this is about football. All right. Well, that being said, I thought it might be good to look ahead to the 2018 NFL Draft. And I was kind of jotting down some notes before the show, and 3 names popped up for me. You know, everyone talks about quarterbacks. So I kind of jotted down 3 quarterbacks who are probably going to be in next year's draft, maybe. And I wanted to maybe talk about who you think could be in the bottom of the order, basically who's crappy. No offense. Which teams could be drafting these quarterbacks early? But the names are Josh Rosen from UCLA, 6'4", 210. He's kind of a string bean. Needs to put some weight on. He's got some injury concerns. But if he can rebound, I mean, he was raved about coming out of high school in his freshman year. Sam Darnold out of USC. I mean, he started came out of nowhere, turned USC around, beat Penn State in the Rose Bowl. Talk about a little bit of a. I know it's USC, so this might get critiqued, but talk about a Cinderella.
USC quarterbacks.
Yeah, Sam Darnold specifically. 6'4", 225. And Josh Allen of the Wyoming Cowboys, 6'5", 222.
Good team name.
Oh boy, 6'5", 222. He's kind of an early darling for all your NFL insiders, calling him a potential first-round pick. Now, I will throw a couple grains of rock salt at that and say that Cooper Rush was in that conversation a year ago. So, hedge your bets a little bit, Josh Allen. However, he does appear, I mean, he has the size. He looks like he's potentially...
all these quarterbacks got the size.
Yeah. So,
big guys.
I kind of rank them right now. Darnold 1, Allen 2, Rosen 3 just because of the injury. But Rosen certainly has the ability to leap all the way up to 1 if he bounces back. But who do you think could be picking at the beginning of that first round that would actually go after a quarterback next year?
If Hackenberg doesn't work out,
which he won't,
the New York Jets.
There you go, the New York Jets. I agree with that. It's one of
their biggest needs.
Yeah.
So,
I like the Jets up there. I also like the Niners. They're going to need a quarterback. Brian Hoyer, great. Seems like a great guy, but he's not. He's not the answer.
They'll win like 2 or 3 games to start off the year, and then he'll get hurt, and then they'll lose their games.
Yeah, Hoyer will throw for 400 yards a game for 4 weeks. They'll be 3-1, and they'll finish 3-13 under Matt Barkley. And then they'll draft Sam Darnold out of USC.
Another great USC. Another guy that was supposed to, be a number 1 overall pick, and obviously that didn't work.
A hypothetical for you. Cleveland finishes with the 3rd pick, and they're in a position to draft a top quarterback. Deshaun Kaiser didn't get a chance to play during the season. Do you think they shoot for a quarterback?
I feel like they can't. I mean, you just invested a 2nd-round pick on a guy who you think can lead your franchise. I mean, you don't spend a 2nd-round pick on a guy and not play him.
I don't disagree with that at all.
I mean,
but I do think, depending on how the season goes, if Sam Darnold's that number 1 that everyone thinks he's going to be, and Cleveland's that number 1, I think you take him, no matter what. Vontae Mack, no matter what.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner.
Maybe you try to flip Kaiser for something.
Yeah. So, anywho, that's our way too early look ahead to the 2018 NFL Draft. And
too early.
Yeah, kind of even unwarranted. I just jotted some notes down and decided to jump on it.
No, stop that.
Leading us into our first DBC food chain of the year. Now, the DBC food chain are just our power rankings. Tom and I differ very much, so we will each run our own power ranking and or food chain, whatever you want to call it. And I'll kick off here. I'll kind of give you the highlights. I'll hit a couple stops along the way. So at number 32, a.k.a. the worst team in the league in my opinion, the Chicago Bears. Sorry, Bears, you went full Cleveland. We've talked about it before. You never go full Cleveland. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Just don't.
Mitchell, sorry, bro. You're done. Mr. Biscuit's not going to do okay.
You haven't even started, but you're done.
You're done, buddy. I honestly don't think he'll even start until week 5 or 6.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they just shelled out $15 million a year to quarterbacks. So
yeah.
If you can't win the starting job.
Rounding out my bottom 5, New York Jets, San Francisco 49ers, Cleveland Browns, LA Rams. I think those teams are definitely in the running for worst team in the league.
We have the same 5 teams in our bottom 5, just probably a different order.
Fantastic.
So we're not too different.
Not too different. Getting into about the middle of the pack, I have 17, 16, 15. I have Eagles, Cardinals, Broncos. I think they're all teams that could be much better than we think or much worse. I certainly am hoping for the Eagles to make that leap and compete and win for the division. So go Eagles, but we'll see what happens. A lot riding on Carson Wentz. And now I'll kind of get into my top 10 here. At number 10, the Detroit Lions. I really like Stafford. I like what Jim Bob Cooter. First of all, great name. But I love what he's doing with the Detroit offense. I think they've only gotten better. They've already named Amir Abdullah their starter by their actions, and I think he'll have a really nice year, provided he stays healthy.
Big if.
Number 9, I have the Cowboys, and I think they did get a little bit better. I don't think their secondary got instantly better. I think they got better for the long term, so I think they could have a little bit of a setback in terms of what they did last year, just because they had a little bit of an easier schedule. So we'll see what happens with the Cowboys. I have them at 9. Number 8, I have the Houston Texans. I think the addition of Deshaun Watson, I'm a big fan of his. I think with that team, the way it's built, that defense, don't turn the ball over. Throw some jump balls to D-Hop.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Miller will do the rest.
Somebody added to him.
Yeah.
Last year was...
It was pretty bad last year.
Rough.
The addition of Deshaun Watson, who I fully expect to win the starting QB job, I think just makes their offense better. It also helps D-Hop, DeAndre Hopkins' fantasy value. So good things for the Texans, and I think they win a lot of games. Number 7, I have the Seattle Seahawks. It's really hard to count them out, poor offensive line or not. They've just been the model of consistency. Number 6, same kind of idea. Mahomes is going to sit, but I have the Chiefs coming in at number 6. I think they win a bunch of games again, but I don't think they win the division. Number 5, the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers. Enough said. At number 4, the Oakland Raiders. I think they're going to give some people a run for their money. Marshawn Lynch coming in, Derek Carr back healthy, good for them. Jared Cook at tight end, so they've got some things going on in Oakland. Number 3, the Super Bowl runner-up, Atlanta Falcons. I think the loss of Kyle Shanahan, that is, will be dire, but I think they're still a pretty darn good team, and I expect them to win that division. Number 2, Josh Dobbs and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He's wearing number 5. I'm not sure if you saw that.
I did not see that. That's delightful.
Yep.
That's a jersey. It's a jersey I will get.
Finally get your Josh Dobbs NFL jersey.
Oh, man. Long time coming. Really excited. No, I think Pittsburgh has a dynamic offense. Marty Bryant's coming off suspension. They don't even need to count on him for anything, so that's just a bonus, especially with drafting Juju Smith-Schuster. Pittsburgh Steelers have just gotten better. In addition to that, they purged some of the veterans off of that defense, brought in some youth, especially with TJ Watt. Good things are happening for the Steelers. And at number 1, the team that won the Super Bowl that only got better, the New England Patriots and Tom Brady.
How can you not put them number 1?
So, oh boy. How about you, Tom? How about some highlights from your DBC food chain?
Well, I'll start with my number 32. I did not have Chicago. I had the Jets there. I just feel like they're kind of discombobulated right now. I mean, their head coach probably won't be there next year. I mean, which you can probably say about Chicago too.
Yeah,
but like
the Jets and the Bears, Bowles and Foxy.
I feel like Chicago has a decent running game and a pretty decent interior offensive line that could help them maybe win a couple games. And they got some young players on defense that are getting better. So that, I mean, I don't really see much hope for the Jets. I mean, as of right now, Josh McCown's our starting quarterback.
Josh McCown.
So that doesn't really excite me too much. But I do have Chicago.
He killed Apollo Creed.
Did
he? Yeah, he's the Russian from Rocky, and he killed Apollo Creed.
Oh, okay. I've never seen the movie, so.
Oh my gosh.
I apologize.
Oh boy.
But I do have Chicago, right there behind them at 31.
Yeah.
I mean, with the amount of holes they had on defense and the amount of great defensive prospects in this draft, to trade up to take a quarterbacks, you can't do that in the position you're in, especially with John Fox probably in his last year.
Yeah, no good.
And like the same as you, I had the same 5 In the bottom, 30, I had the Rams, San Francisco at 29, and Cleveland at 28. Because, I've been listening to you a little bit. I think they're going to be a little bit better than people think.
Yeah, they're a competitive team, and they've added a lot of talent. It'll just take some time to put all that talent together.
Yeah. So I'll just say my top 5
Okay.
instead of the top 10.
Sure.
I have Pittsburgh at number 5.
Okay.
I feel like while they did get youth on defense,
And Josh Dobbs.
they did get Josh Jahzzar, who probably won't play for like 2 years.
Big Ben misses time
he
every
does,
year.
He does, that's true, but is he going to pass Landry Jones for that number
Yes.
2 spot? I guess that's not too much.
I would pass Landry Jones.
That's not asking too much, I guess.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that I wanted Landry Jones on the Cowboys back when he was coming out?
I can. He's probably a Cowboys fan.
I just like the name Landry. It fits.
Good for you.
But I feel like they're very Le'Veon Bell reliant, and he tends to get injured.
Or suspended.
Yeah, and if something happens to him, it seems like their offense just kind of sputters.
Mm-hmm.
And while they did add youth to their defense, they're guys that have to learn the game as well, like learn the NFL game. So there'll be some hiccups here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But, by the end of the year, they could be good, pretty good. 4, I have Oakland. I love the addition of Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Gives them a legitimate running back. Latavius Murray was okay, but
Very inconsistent.
yeah. He had the one game where he had 3 touchdowns, and then I'm pretty sure he didn't do anything.
Yeah,
like
one of the
week
most,
after that.
of the last 2 years, probably one of the most frustrating fantasy running backs.
Trust me, I had him. I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Number 3, I have Green Bay. I just feel like Aaron Rodgers keeps that team always in the top 5.
Yeah, you can't count him out.
And I like the addition of Marty B. Gives them, while Cook is pretty good, it gives them a even better tight end. Number 2, I have the Super Bowl runner-up Atlanta Falcons.
Wow, keeping him at 2, huh?
They lost Chris Chester, which could hurt, but they still have a dynamic offense.
Who's calling plays?
I don't know.
Not Kyle Shanahan.
They still have arguably the best
I believe
receiver.
it's Sarkisian.
They have arguably the best receiver in the league. A nice 2-headed running game. They still have other decent offensive linemen. Some young defensive players coming up too. And obviously, I don't really need to explain number 1 with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Anyone
who doesn't have them, right? Anyone who doesn't have them number 1 in their power rankings is lying.
They're just Belichick haters.
Yeah, gotta respect what they've been able to do. Want them to lose, but gotta respect what they've been able to do. Be sure to check out our website, www.dbcfootball.com, for the full DBC food chains. Check mine out. I'll be sure to include a lot of notes why I feel that way. Let me know, why you think your team deserves to be higher.
It doesn't.
Unless they're the Eagles, it doesn't.
Hey,
let me know why you think the Cowboys deserve to be lower.
To be fair, I had the Eagles at number 11. So
Hey, awesome. Where'd you have the Cowboys?
8.
8. Yeah, I had them at 9, so can't complain too much there. They're a pretty good team. If that defense falls apart, though, they're in trouble.
Yes, they are.
Foot race to 40 points every week.
They'll be like the Saints.
Yeah.
Just going toe-to-toe on offense, but then defense not so much.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Zeke hits a sophomore slump or not.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Yeah. All right, well, that is our episode this week. We powered through episode 8 here. We've got our food chains out there. Our first rankings of the season. The 2017 season is very young. We're looking forward to next week, where we will again review news around the league, some other happenings, and our way too early quarterback rankings of the 2017 NFL season of all the projected starters. And we will go from there. Thanks for joining us. Tom, thanks for being here. Always. So make sure you come back, listen to episode 9 next week. Share, like, subscribe, whatever on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, at DBC_football on Instagram and Twitter. And again, our website is www.dbcfootball.com. Be on the lookout for next week's episode. So be sure to
stay humble, drink craft beer,
have a good time, and love football. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.